Samantha traced her fingertip along the polished surface of the mahogany table, its gleam a mirror to her own polished existence. The table, like her life, was a masterpiece of craftsmanship, yet it felt devoid of any real substance, a mere reflection of what lay beneath the surface. Her gaze swept across the impeccably decorated living room, sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the carefully curated art on the walls. Each piece was chosen with precision, each item placed with intent, creating a space that was both breathtaking and sterile. It was a picture of perfection, a showcase home featured in glossy magazines, the kind of home that people admired from afar, envying the life they imagined was lived within its walls. Yet a profound emptiness echoed within her, a stark contrast to the picture of ideal life she presented to the world. The more perfect her surroundings, the more glaring the void inside her became. Each luxurious detail, from the plush velvet sofa to the intricate Persian rug, seemed to mock her with their cold beauty. They were symbols of a life that was rich in material wealth, but poor in emotional fulfillment. They served as constant reminders of her gilded cage, a life devoid of the warmth and vibrancy she craved. The beauty around her was a facade, masking the loneliness that gnawed at her soul. The silence in the house was deafening, broken only by the gentle tick-tock of the antique grandfather clock in the corner, a constant reminder of time slipping away. Each tick was a whisper of the moments lost, the opportunities missed, the life unlived. She was living a life scripted by societal expectations, a life where every desire was met except the deepest longings of her soul. The world saw her as the epitome of success, but inside, she felt like a prisoner of her own choices. The longing for a love that consumed her, a passion that ignited her soul, remained unfulfilled. She yearned for a connection that went beyond the superficial, something that would make her feel truly alive. In the depths of her heart, she yearned for a love story that mirrored the ones she devoured in books, a love story that seemed to elude her grasp. The characters in her novels lived lives full of passion and adventure, while she felt trapped in a monotonous routine. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the manicured lawn, Samantha felt a familiar ache in her heart. The beauty of the sunset only heightened her sense of isolation, reminding her of the fleeting nature of time and the dreams that remained unfulfilled. The house, despite its grandeur, felt more like a prison, its gilded bars suffocating her spirit. The walls that once promised security now felt like barriers, keeping her from the life she truly desired. It was in these quiet, contemplative moments that the weight of her choices, the life she had built, pressed down on her with suffocating force. She wondered if it was too late to change, to break free from the expectations that had shaped her existence. She longed for a life less ordinary, a life imbued with passion and purpose. She dreamed of a future where she could pursue her true passions, where her days were filled with meaning and her heart with joy. The gilded cage she lived in was beautiful, but it was still a cage, and she yearned for the freedom to fly. Samantha met James during their sophomore year of college. It was a chance encounter, one of those serendipitous moments that seemed almost scripted by fate. They were both reaching for the same book in the campus library, their hands brushing against each other. He was charming, ambitious, and undeniably drawn to her quiet intelligence and understated beauty. James had a way of making her feel seen, truly seen, in a way no one else ever had. His eyes would light up whenever she spoke, as if her words were the most important thing in the world. Their courtship was a whirlwind of candlelit dinners, stolen kisses in the library stacks, and whispered promises of a future together. They would spend hours talking about their dreams, their fears, and their plans for the future. Every moment felt magical, as if they were living in a dream. He proposed at graduation, a diamond ring sparkling under the summer sky, a symbol of their commitment. It was a grand gesture, one that left Samantha breathless and teary-eyed. She said yes, of course, and they were enveloped in a sea of applause and cheers from their friends and family. Their families rejoiced, their friends marveled at their seemingly perfect match. It was as if the entire world was rooting for them, convinced that they were destined for a lifetime of happiness together. They were the golden couple, the epitome of young love and promise. It was what everyone expected of them, a fairy tale romance culminating in a lifetime of shared dreams. They were the couple everyone envied, the ones who seemed to have it all. Their love story was the stuff of legends, a tale that would be told and retold for years to come. Samantha, caught up in the whirlwind of it all, allowed herself to be swept away by the current, ignoring the quiet whispers of doubt that lingered at the edge of her awareness. She wanted to believe in the fairy tale, to trust that their love was as perfect as it seemed. But deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. The years that followed were a blur of shared milestones, a grand wedding, a celebration that felt like a dream come true. The ceremony was beautiful, the reception a joyous affair filled with laughter and love. A picturesque honeymoon in Santorini, where they explored the island hand in hand, basking in the glow of their new life together. The sunsets were breathtaking, the moments they shared unforgettable. The purchase of their dream home, each achievement meticulously documented and displayed like trophies on the mantle of their life. They decorated their home with care, each room a testament to their shared vision of the future. James's career soared, his ambition fueling his relentless pursuit of success. He worked long hours, driven by a desire to provide for their future. His dedication was admirable, but it came at a cost. Samantha, ever supportive, created a haven for them, a place of warmth and beauty. She poured her heart into making their house a home, filling it with love and laughter. But as the years went by, she began to feel the strain of their growing distance. Yet, as James climbed the corporate ladder, the distance between them grew wider. The long hours and late nights took their toll, and the connection they once shared began to fray. They were living parallel lives, each consumed by their own pursuits. Their conversations became increasingly superficial, their touches lacking the spark that had once ignited their desires. They talked about the mundane details of their day, but the deep, meaningful conversations that had once defined their relationship were few and far between. Samantha realized with a growing sense of unease that they had become more like roommates than lovers, their shared history a fading tapestry of memories. The love that had once burned so brightly now felt like a distant memory, a ghost of what it had once been. The love they had promised each other, the foundation upon which they had built their life, seemed to be crumbling beneath the weight of unspoken expectations and unfulfilled desires. They were left with the haunting question of whether their love could be rekindled or if it was destined to remain a ghost of love's promise. The realization struck Samantha with the force of a physical blow. It was as if the ground beneath her had shifted, leaving her unsteady and disoriented. She had always prided herself on her ability to maintain control, to keep her emotions in check, but this revelation was too powerful to ignore. She was sitting on the edge of their king-size bed, the silk sheets cool against her skin, a stark contrast to the turmoil raging within her. The room, usually a sanctuary of comfort and luxury, now felt like a gilded cage, trapping her in a life that no longer felt like her own. As James droned on about his latest business deal, his voice a monotonous hum in the background, Samantha felt a growing sense of detachment. His words, once a source of pride and excitement, now seemed trivial and insignificant. His words washed over her, meaningless and hollow. She could no longer find joy in his successes, nor could she muster the energy to feign interest. The emotional distance between them had become a chasm impossible to bridge. It was in that moment, surrounded by the trappings of their success, that the truth pierced through her carefully constructed facade. The opulence that once symbolized their shared dreams now felt like a mockery of her true feelings. She no longer loved him. The realization was both liberating and terrifying. It was as if a veil had been lifted, revealing the stark reality of her emotions. The words echoed in the silence of their bedroom, stark and irrefutable. The room, once filled with laughter and love, now felt like a hollow shell, echoing with the ghosts of what once was. Tears welled up in her eyes, hot and unwelcome. She had always been strong, always in control, but now she felt vulnerable and exposed. The tears were a testament to the years of suppressed emotions finally breaking free. She had spent years suppressing this truth, burying it deep within herself, afraid of the consequences of its unveiling. The fear of shattering the illusion of their perfect life had kept her silent, but now the truth was too powerful to contain. But the truth, like a persistent vine, had a way of finding its way into the light. No matter how deeply she tried to bury it, it continued to grow, pushing through the cracks of her carefully maintained facade. Days turned into weeks, each passing moment a testament to the chasm that had grown between them. The once vibrant connection they shared had withered, leaving behind a barren landscape of unspoken words and unmet needs. Samantha felt like an actress in a play, going through the motions of a loving wife while her heart remained a frozen wasteland. Each smile, each touch, felt like a performance devoid of genuine emotion. The charade became unbearable, the weight of her secret a heavy cloak she could no longer bear to wear. The effort to maintain the illusion of happiness was exhausting, draining her of the little energy she had left. Finally, one rainy Tuesday evening, as thunder rumbled in the distance, mirroring the turmoil within her, Samantha decided to confront James. The decision was not made lightly. It was the culmination of countless sleepless nights and endless internal debates. The words tumbled out, hesitant at first, then gaining momentum as if a dam had broken within her. She spoke with a raw honesty that she had never allowed herself to express before, each word a release of the pent-up emotions that had been suffocating her. She spoke of her unfulfilled desires, the longing in her heart, and the painful realization that their paths had diverged. The life they had built together, once a source of pride and joy, now felt like a prison, confining her to a role she could no longer play. As the words hung in the air, Samantha felt a strange sense of relief. The truth, though painful, was liberating. She had finally acknowledged her feelings, and in doing so had taken the first step towards an uncertain but authentic future. She stood by the window, watching the rain cascade down the glass, each drop a symbol of the cleansing that had begun within her. The storm outside mirrored the one within, but for the first time in a long while, she felt a glimmer of hope. Samantha knew that the road ahead would be challenging, filled with difficult decisions and emotional upheavals. But she also knew that it was a journey she needed to take, a path that would lead her to a place of truth and self-discovery. With a deep breath, she embraced the uncertainty, finding strength in her newfound honesty. The unveiling of her true feelings was not an end, but a beginning, a chance to rebuild her life on a foundation of authenticity and self-love. James's reaction was not one of anger or recrimination, but rather a quiet acceptance, as if he, too, had sensed the growing distance between them. The realization that they had both been living a lie, albeit for different reasons, hung heavy in the air. They decided to separate, the process surprisingly amicable, yet tinged with a profound sense of sadness. Samantha moved into a small apartment on the other side of town. The space was modest compared to the sprawling house she had shared with James, but it felt liberating. Stripped of the material possessions that had defined her life for so long, she felt a sense of lightness, a newfound freedom to explore the uncharted territories of her own heart. She reconnected with Emily, her former college roommate and confidant. Emily, a free spirit with a contagious laugh and a heart as open as the sky, welcomed Samantha back into her life with open arms. Emily had always marched to the beat of her own drum, her life a testament to the power of pursuing one's passions, regardless of societal expectations. They spent hours reminiscing about their college days, sharing laughter and tears over steaming mugs of coffee. Emily listened without judgment as Samantha poured out her heart, her fears and insecurities tumbling out in a torrent of words. Emily's unwavering support and encouragement were like a lifeline to Samantha, a beacon of hope in the midst of uncertainty.